What's up, everybody? This is Ed. We're back with another video. Just a couple of announcements while I'm waiting for people to get on the room. I'm probably going to be on here for maybe an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Make sure you check out my Facebook group. It will be in the link in the description at the end of this video. I'm starting to put more content in there. I'm still building it up. So I want definitely all of y'all that are on Facebook to subscribe to the group. As far as some of you all that have subbed to me, friended me on Facebook, I do apologize. I kind of vet my Facebook comments because I'd rather vet them than, start deleting people. So I will get to you. And the group is going to be another good in between to do that as well. The last stuff I'll share there. That way people don't have to worry about getting removed on the Facebook, from Facebook because of, sucker stuff. So today what we're going to do is I'm going to go through, I'm not really going to go through a lot of my comments, but I'm going to go through some of them. Because you got some people that they want to hear what they want to hear because maybe they like what I'm saying on maybe O'Shea's Hangout or whatever, but they get triggered. They get triggered because that Black people are extremely emotional. And my issue is not necessarily with people getting triggered, but if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And you don't have to agree. The qualification to know what the hell you're talking about is not, do you agree with me or do you not agree with me? The qualification is, are you actually making a rational argument? And then if you are, then I'll pretty much kind of bridge, okay, this is where you're at, this is where I'm at, this is where, kind of I see the thing behind the thing as far as what a disagreement is. So we can talk about that thing. I like to talk a lot, but even I get tired of basically intellectual masturbating and shit like that. So this is kind of going to be an update on, kind of my mindset on some things when it comes to the Black community and culture. And what I see is really the kind of key problem that drives a lot of other issues. Just like a lot of the issues that we deal with is driven by economics. A lot of behaviors that Black people don't do, the coon and all that, it's all come down to economics. People can tell you what the fuck they want to tell you, but it comes down to that. Now, if there's something behind the economics that affects the economics, it would be culture. And what's and just like how in America we don't really pay attention to mental health like that, Black people especially don't. I'm gonna coin this term culture health because I think, and especially thinking of things like ADOS, we have to start really taking, and ADOS is not just about asking for reparations, like Professor Troop said, is a big old booming topic that everything kind of can flow under that. But the reality is, the real question, like he said, was tangibles. And reparations will be a part of that. But again, reparations is a long-term thing. But there's so many other things that they could kind of cut. ADOS is really not a movement. It's kind of, you're either a descendant of slave or you're not. And based on being a descendant of slave, you're not necessarily going to have 100% line up with priorities of other groups. So for instance, even taking non-ADOS people off, your agenda should not line up lockstep with Latinos or with Asians. So when people talk about these like coalitions, these are things that, just like how Black people try to tell Dominicans and Puerto Ricans, other groups, that they're Black, you telling somebody this is kind of like a woman that's fully Black telling a biracial woman she's Black. What it is if she's demonstrated to you that she is not on your team, then you need to appreciate the fact that she's demonstrated to you she's not on your team. Dude as well. This is like, and so it's not like complete beat up of women, when Black men, or men in general, because you see, but I'm talking about Black men in particular, when they ask a woman out, if a woman says no, as long as she's not being a bitch about it, if she says no or she says she's not interested, she did you a favor. Because if she just said, I'm interested because I know you got money to take her out, and you take her out 1, 2, 3 dates like a dumbass, and then she says you're not interested, that's still kind of on you for falling for that. But see, that woman still did you a favor by, see that? She could have did that. And in today's world, a lot of women are doing that. But off of that, when it comes to the 9 areas of activity, that goes as follows: economics, politics, technically law, media, education, sex, religion, labor, and war. And the reason why labor is included in there is because labor is talking about like jobs like IT and jobs. Everything can't be, everybody can't be an entrepreneur. So labor is kind of, economics is kind of like you bringing in the resources. Labor is kind of like the jobs, which are a way that you interface with those resources. So anyway, my point is I want to give you the 9 areas of activity because when I talk about these things, I'm thinking through that prism. Also, the 5 floors is documented by Dr. Clark Anderson, which has 5 of them in there: economics, politics, judiciary, which is law, media, and education. This is why I'm not just listening to somebody that it fucking sounds good and then I'm regurgitating what they say. A lot of the people that I gravitate towards are people that off of things that I've read. Like, for instance, Rich Dad Poor Dad was written by an Asian. And usually the follow-up books are written by white people. How to Think and How to Grow Rich was written by white people. So what happens is I find black men that have said things in other contexts, texts, based on their experience, and these are who I gravitate towards. So when I gravitate towards somebody like Dr. Claude Anderson, he's talking about a lot of the basic stuff in Rich Dad Poor Dad, but at a group level and for black people, uniquely speaking to what we've dealt with and why we go through what we go through as a group. So I've already had same thing with BGS Igmore when it comes to a lot of stuff, when it comes to women and stuff like that. These are things I've known for a while. I've just never focused it. Like he made it clear as far as I can organize it and really kind of like a catalog it. But I've already known a lot of this stuff because there's a book. This is kind of like the prerequisite while I'm waiting for people to get in here. Like there's a book before I ever, like I'm talking about 5-6 years before I ever met BGS, called or heard a BGS called Secrets of Female Sexuality. And this is a book by David Shade. And if you read this book, it's a very easy read. That's why I like the book as well. The way it's written is written in a way that if you don't like to read, this book will let me verify y'all can hear me so I ain't just talking shit. Give me 1 second. All right, what's up? Yeah, what's up? All right, I got 28 people in here. All right, y'all. Just to show you, share. Yeah, this book. And this is not like this is a dude that actually used to be an engineer. This dude used to be an engineer and he got cheated on his wife or whatever, blah blah blah. I've actually met this dude in person. And you know, it's kind of weird, but I mean he gets results. He show, you know, I like, because I met him in like a hypnosis kind of thing with somebody else thing he was running, and he's legit. But my point is that shit is something that I looked at. And yeah, y'all need to see my face. I looked at, I knew of, I can get a haircut tomorrow. I knew of way before I ever saw BGS. And so BGS just made things a lot more clear and just provided the data and charts and stuff behind it in the time. I'm a big fan of timelines. I love looking at big timelines, short timelines, because it gives you context. So a lot of the people you see me gravitate towards are people that kind of can streamline things that I've already known, but rather than me saying it, because y'all know I like to talk around the way about shit. This is why you see me talk about Erica a lot as far as her, because they can streamline getting you from what you don't know to what you know fast in a way that's easily understandable. So these are why am I saying all this shit? I'm saying that because I'm not a dude that just, oh, I hear somebody and I just start regurgitating what the fuck they said with no vetting. That's what most of y'all are doing. I'm not even gonna bring up names because I could bring up a hell of a lot of names with a hell of a lot of people that's not just the typical people with ADOS or whatever. Black people have to stop playing this game of, I'm gonna ask the question, do I like this dude? And then the answer to that question will dictate how I interpret or filter everything he says. Where you're either blindly following this person or you're just against them and you don't even really know why. So you come up with bullshit. If I don't like somebody or I don't like their message, I can give you specific details, and I can actually go into the heart of the matter if I want to quickly as to why I don't like this person or what they need to do to adjust their message. And I will furthermore give you an example of an ideal. This is what most of these people can't do. This is how you know the people that's full of shit and the people that actually, I'm not even talking about, they actually know what they're talking about. If you ask them, what is the ideal? I'll give you Yvette and Tone's perfect example. Yvette and Tone always go back to made whole. That means a lot of things. Well, I need to be made whole. Let me give you a perfect example. If you're a black man and you were put in jail, and let's say you didn't have any kids, and you were in jail for 25 to let's say 25 years, and you were convicted for something you did not commit. Let's say rape, DNA proved so you did not do it, and you're in jail and you're 50. Technically, you could still have kids. Your sperm ain't rocking like it used to, and it's not gonna be as easy for you to get kids. Now, if you were to say, how can you make that man whole? Let's be clear here. You can't. The truth is you can't. You can give $10 million. But the reality of the situation is, or you could give them money saying, okay, if you made $100,000, if you made like if you make $50,000 a year, and $50,000 a year times 25 years, and you lost that income because of whatever. Let me just do the math on that. 50 times 12 is 600,000 times 25. It's okay. That would be $15 million technically. And then obviously, if you start taking tax out and stuff like that, but you make it tax free, just not be an asshole about it. The truth is, you can't make that man whole because you've taken his ability to create a family away. You've taken a lot of things away that are intangible. So when we're really talking about making people whole, that's really something that's designed to not answer the question. It's designed to never map out, okay, this is what my vision for being made whole means as a people. Now, Dr. Clark Anderson will define being made whole as Black people having a critical mass of businesses that will allow us to keep control of our wealth, which will give us agency. Because if we have agency, we have the people, the tools, and information to pretty much fix everything else. It's a matter of teaching somebody to fish versus giving someone a fish versus teaching. You got certain people that want to teach somebody, want to give somebody a fish and then say you good versus teach somebody how to fish. And here's another thing, and this isn't the main thing of my video, but this is just something while I'm waiting for people to get in here. When people like to say economics doesn't work, look at what happened to Jim Crow. Jim Crow is actually proof it did work. Because if it didn't work, they wouldn't need to kept on rotating the rules so rapidly to the point where they just said, fuck it, we're going to just start doing overt terrorism. We're going to just start tearing shit down because we can't stop them building. We went from being slaves to learning how to read at I think at 80%, like a 70 or 80% rate in like a 30-year period without a program to help accelerate it. Now, I'm not saying we don't need to get what we're owed, but I'm just letting you know that that's off the straight. Now, granted, back then, I need to preface that Black people had a lot of skills back then because we were slave labor. And that made us a very big threat because we already had the skills. Now we were going to the market and getting paid for it, which was going to remove other people from the market, mainly the Irish and your lower class whites. But my point is, we still had our own enclosed communities anyway. So a lot of the going to the north didn't really start till massive industrialism and stuff like that. But that's not even here's the point. The point is, we had a lot less than we have now. So this idea that people are blowing smoke and basically lying to people about our capability of actually building stuff on our own, independent, without this kind of massive push for money is bullshit. Economics powers politics. Now, can politics accelerate economics? You're damn sure right. And this is the main foundation that they stand on when they talk. But the problem is, you're fundamentally asking someone to give something to you that they have no real incentive to give to you. And you don't really, and if you're going to take economics off the table, the only other action would be violence. And violence would actually give people an excuse to do a lot of what they want to do. So violence is really not the answer. So you're really saying that you have no option but to hope and pray. This is why you if you look at people that actually listen to Tone, really buy into what Tone and Yvette are saying, these are not people that are economically empowered on their own. They're not. They're not. You can't find people, and when I say economically empowered, I'm not even talking about having a business. I'm just talking about, having a decent job and having control of their finances, typically. Because that's they're on a different world view. The way they view money is a different world view. So anyway, it's enough people up in here. I just wanted to put that shit down real quick. Kind of give an explanation for this video. This little hangout. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go through some of my comments and I'm gonna answer my comments. And I'm going to answer some of the naysayers. Most of these people are cowards. Most of these people don't have the fortitude, because I'm mainly talking about women, but I'm talking about some dudes, to actually come up on here and actually have a conversation with me. I used to do this on my Facebook. What I used to do is when people would talk shit in my Facebook, because you know how you can bring people directly on your Facebook. I did that before Tariq did it, by the way. Not saying you got it from me, but just saying. I used to invite them, and we have a dual thing. And I did this to defend Boyce Watkins. And there's certain things I still stand behind Boyce Watkins on now. But when we actually had a verbal conversation, usually they would either agree with me or we will find some common ground. Now, when I say common ground, I don't mean jump off of what I'm on to meet them halfway. I mean, like, we would be able to recontextualize the conversation to what it means. To give you a perfect example, I remember a guy that he had a problem with Boyce Watkins, but to his credit, he actually bought Boyce Watkins products. So he wasn't one of these Negroes, and I could tell based on what he was saying about some of them, they were just talking shit about Boyce. He actually purchased the products and did not like what he purchased. And the reality is, I've always said that Boyce could do a lot better with his products. The way his products are organized and delivered is not. It needs to be improved. It just does. So I mean, his concepts, his products are good, but if somebody just bought a lot of digital information, and I know what good information is, it's not. No. So when I understood that his main issue with Boyce was not so much in the concept of what Boyce was talking about, but he didn't feel like he got the value for the information that he purchased, then that I understood, but he never delivered that in his comments. So I didn't just try to hammer him down. I got to the bottom of what his issue was, and we didn't have like a fundamental disagreement, because I do think they need to be improved. And he was good. But a lot of times, most of the time, it's not even that. Most of the time, you just got people talking shit to be talking shit. And when you challenge them to actually, and this is not me about embarrassing anyone. I'm not gonna Jason Black you, but I know I challenge myself all the time. So anyway, let me go through some of these comments. Oh yeah, don't get me started. If you listen to my last video, don't get me started on the fucking Oscars. Like, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I find out what happened in the Oscars by going to Bing.com. Shout out to Microsoft. Microsoft has a black man. I believe he's ADOS. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure he's ADOS, a black male. That is the chairman, worth $250 million of Microsoft. Even though I use Google mainly, when it comes to like news and stuff like that, I do like Bing. Bing has a lot more interact. Bing has really been able to merge search and social. And obviously I don't get no money from them for saying that. But usually I will go to the Oscars. If I will go to Bing and find out who won, and it'll give me not only who won like in the list, but pictures of who won. It's a very good like, I'll give you a perfect example just to show you that while y'all are. And like I said, if y'all somebody want to join, email me. I am going to be selective in who I let in here, so don't feel bad if I don't. If it's it is what it is. I don't want it 4 or 5 people. I maybe want 1 or 2. Because I definitely want to talk, and I want, well, not obviously I'm gonna talk regardless, but you get it. Let me see. So Oscars. So watch this. Oscars. I didn't even do this before. This is just gonna be so Oscars 2019. See, as you can see, this is not Facebook, YouTube. I mean, Google doesn't do this. Best picture, best actor. I can see all these things. See the context. It's really cool. But don't get me started on that fuckery that dude in that dress tuxedo and bullshit. Like, whatever. So anyway, let me go through these comments and then I'm gonna to then not comments. I'm gonna go through the chat and let y'all know I see you, and then I'm gonna go through the comments. So let's see. What's up, AM1? What's up, Naima? What's up, Devin? Yeah, appreciate it if y'all like the stream. Y'all actually really good about that. What's up, Char? Haven't seen you in a second. What's up, Gigi? What's up, Muka Poplips? See, and these first initial people are women. So for people that want to say, I'm a black woman hater, get the fuck out of here. What's up, AM1? What's up, Tamarine? I swear, man, we need to start sending some money to Char. Char's straight doing assistant duties. Everybody's saying what's up. Have a good day, Hurricane. Oh, what's up? Yeah, definitely. Do what you got to do. He is Ado. He is Charles. Great. Because I don't know everything. I haven't looked at it. Okay, he is Ado, so we can claim him. So yeah, shout out to him. Because we don't highlight enough businessmen. Like we don't like businessmen should be able to be celebrity. Where is our like celebrity businessmen? And obviously the problem is you can't really do that as a black man because once they know you got money, then they're gonna come at you. But at least in our own group, we should know. Yeah, what's up, Neon Eyes? Yeah, I mean shit. No, Bing is not black owned, AM1, but the chairman of Microsoft. Let me show you. Bing is not black owned, but I'm just but the let's see. Chairman of Microsoft. This is the chairman of Microsoft. 250 million, 69 years old, from Fort Sumter, New Jersey. He has been chairman for 5 years now. And he's the chairman of the board, meaning he's above the CEO. That's so just point that out. But Microsoft, so I mean give credit where credit's due. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Microsoft is what one of the definitely in the Fortune 100, maybe for obviously top higher than that. So anyway, well, I mean, here's the thing contextually. Black men are in a different situation than white men. So this idea that there's an equivalent to like sites like Reddit and stuff, to like that's a whole website that's far bigger than the manosphere across the board or all platforms. So this idea that black men are really pushing the beef, I'm not pushing the beef. I'm calling balls and strikes. The truth is, you do got, I mean, black women have a far more contempt for black men than in reverse. That just is. He's got a milk bottle colored wife. Hey, I'm not even looking at, I mean, I get it, but I ain't even looking at all of that. I'm looking at the fact that's a black man that made it as hard. Like we can go deeper in that if we want to, but I just wanted to show y'all something. That's all that was. And we need to highlight our businessmen, even if they are married to non-black women. I mean, I'm just because we need to know that people can make it. And make no mistake, a lot of them got their wives after they made it, not because of. So anyway, because I do want to get to the point. So let's go with some of these comments here. Blah blah blah. And these are gonna be naysayer comments. I will start with one that I agree with. Naima left a comment saying, Edward, black men must reclaim the crown. You guys got to push for respect, separate from what the media is trying to portray. We are too busy trying to divest from each other instead of solidarity. We won't win if we don't come together. The more we try to escape the other races and cultures, the more white dominant society will continue to end us. Black first. I agree with this, but I don't agree. This is not a this is a comment I definitely agree with, and I put in the below. I agree. I do agree with the first part that we got to push for respect outside our group, but part of that is a consolidation. When companies, there's a reason why in the business world, when companies break up and they reconsolidate themselves, or when companies buy back their own stock, what ADOS black people have to do is buy back their own stock. Now, any group that wants to, basically have a shared issue and agenda with us because we don't have friends or allies, we have interests, then they can do that. And the groups, the islanders who traditionally, technically, had very commonality in a lot of things. Your Afro-Latinas to varying degrees. But the problem is, people are not going to deal with people kind of being like under people, but at the same time competing. If you're a competitor, you're a competitor. And I'm not saying that you need to just fall back. I mean, steel needs to sharpen steel. But if you're competing against black, ADOS blacks for like affection in this country, when we know what we're owed, then you're going to be put in the competitor spots. And that just is what it is. And there's more than enough of us to consolidate around to have a shared interest to be trying to reach to other people. I know that's not what you were saying, but I get it. Another comment is Marty W. writes, how about Spike Lee cooning because he was finally recognized by the white Oscars? I get that, but I'm not going because I'm not trying to get the channel flag. The Black Klansman, if you haven't seen it yet, well, he said lots of Jew ass kicking. I consider Jews white. I separate Jews from Israelis. But as far as I haven't seen the Black Klansman. I actually haven't seen it. I don't think if I did see it, it would be to support Denzel's son, but maybe I'll see it down the road, but I didn't see it in the movies. I will say this though, Spike Lee is a part of the system. Remember, if we want to talk about movies, remember when in Man of Steel, they Clark asked his dad Jor-El, why didn't you come with us? And he said, as much as we wanted to, we're still a product of Krypton and deserve to share in its fate. That's what most of your black celebrities are. Most of your black celebrities are a part of the system, or they choose to be, and that just is what it is. Like 90% of them. There's 10%, such as people like Wendell Pierce and others, that are not really in that. But the people that you're going to see that's the most prominent usually are, or they have issues that's subject to that system. For instance, what Jada Pinkett said about that dude wearing a dress, but she's a chick that needs to get a newspaper bounced off her damn head because she don't know how to treat a dude like Will Smith, even though, it's been rumors about Will. My point is, they are a part of that system. And the problem and the reason why is because coming back to economics, and this is why I decided to mention the Jewish term, the money that's rotated around Hollywood. I mean, it's about the money. If you don't bring money to the table, or you're bringing the ability to get money, you don't have control over the system. And it just is what it is. This is why your agents can do a lot more. At the end of the day, they can't get around the fact that Asia, a lot of their movies, I mean, China, let me give you something. China, a lot of Hollywood, if you see a movie like Aquaman, I think did like $200 and something million in China. But see, they're only getting 25% of that money back. In Hollywood. So basically, China at best is taking most of that money, a lot more than what they technically should, and they're using that to build their own movie market. And quite frankly, they're telling Hollywood what the fuck you gonna do about it. Because if they want to make Western movies, they can always go to Hong Kong, because Hong Kong is more westernized than the main Chinese movie market for that. They don't need America. So they have to respond to that. And this is why you're seeing a lot more Asians in your movies. This is why you're seeing a lot more, Asians behind the cameras. This is not just the reason, but it's a reason why they're pushed. It's money. Now, we know Asians don't have the numbers in the United States, but the money. It comes down to the money. See, when people, going back to the voting thing, you need numbers to vote because you get one vote, one person. With money, you can multiply what you can do times whatever economics that you have. This is why fundamentally what Tony and Yvette are saying is bullshit. Because you're asking somebody to do something for you. Morality, white supremacy is not built on morality. So your belief that morality is going to convince people to do something is fucking stupid when you really think about it. So what's the alternative? Well, the alternative is, number one, denying people votes. So the liberals can't because I'd rather have a true enemy than a false friend. So the liberals can't win because the liberals are not because the Latinos are not going to vote for liberals enough, because the more liberals promise Latino shit, the more your whites, which your conservative whites, are going to fight against that, independent of black people. I just wanted to kind of bring that together because we should be wanting to build a black Hollywood that's top down black that's controlled by black men in particular. Because if shit is top down with women, they're always gonna go there. They want validation from the main society. This is why when O'Shea stated that you got production that are top down black women, well, and it's not because they're bad, it's because women don't compete like that with men like that. They look to be up under. This is why you're seeing your women through feminism being elevated anyway in the greater society, because it's easier because women don't overturn things, men do. And that's even amongst white people. So that's not even on like sisters. That's just amongst white people. Okay, I got one. This one isn't the worst one. This is the one that's not the one that made me do this video, but this one's going to be a fun one. Let me see what y'all think about what I've said so far. I respect that, Marty. Marty said he wasn't some bootleg Negro. Thompson really worked his way up from the bottom to run Microsoft since his daddy was a postal worker. Somebody tell Yvette this. Well, everybody. Oh, I appreciate that, Naima. Shout out to Naima that gave me a little something on the PayPal. I'm gonna use that to start tricking again, like O'Shea says. No, but no, absolutely, I appreciate and I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you, and you know what? That's another thing I'm about to say too before I start going in. It's not even that I hate to say this, but facts are facts. I just said before I even read that comment with Nine, what did I just say? It's easier to get money out of women than it is dudes. Now, part of that, there's a lot of reasons for that, but my point is, women. Okay, this is in the black community. This is what folks got to understand. Your opinions are irrelevant. Your opinions are as valuable as the money you're willing to put behind them. That's real truth. So when we are on here on the Rumble and stuff having debates, that shit really doesn't matter if you're not gonna put money behind it. And when I say money, you can say resources, because if I'm somebody where I'm a digital marketer, I know how to get things that can lead to money. You get what I'm saying? My point is, a lot of times, a lot of y'all dudes that be on here crying about women coming into the quote unquote manosphere, these women are coming with money. And you gotta pay for what you own. Freedom ain't free. And I'm not saying you should give me any money. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you all have to support the platform. Even supporting it, even if you don't support it with money, you should be supporting it by liking it, sharing it, by connecting with other people around the information and bringing them on to some of this information. Pick your favorite YouTuber, whatever. If you believe in it, vet it. But a lot of y'all want to be entertained, and then y'all will turn around, and when other people come and they buy into what they're saying and they're putting money in here, I mean, people see that. And then y'all want to get mad and just say, well, these women are taking over. These women a lot of times can be full of shit because they're willing to put more money behind them being full of shit than you are. And obviously, I'm not talking about nine, but I'm talking about in general. That's what it is. And this is the difference between being a voter and a donor. I mean, I'm gonna keep it real with you. It's a lot more males to be over here dick riding for Yvette and Tone than it is females. Like real talk. It's something about business. This is how you know we're in a matriarchy, because this is really what this video is about. It's something about business. If you want to prove the black community is matriarchal, not patriarchal, try to start a business and see where you get more leverage from, more mileage from. If you just keep it with ADOS black people, you will get a hell of a lot more mileage from women than you will men. I hate to say that. Somebody that, for me, that's been in the network marketing world, it is a lot. Now I'm gonna tell you, if I get a black man on board, and he's on board, then I can do damage with that dude. But it is much easier from a collective group standpoint dealing with women. And I'm not talking about selling them bullshit with no results. If you actually look in the network marketing world, and there are quite a few brothers that are kicking ass and taking names, there are a lot more women. And network marketing is pretty much direct sales. In fact, I'll show you. That's one thing I want to do. That's one thing I really want to do real quick is I want to show you all some of the people that I follow. On my Instagram. I want y'all to see these people. I know this sounds clickbaity, but I'm gonna get back into what I was originally talking about. Come on, come on. Let me see. Is anybody trying to get the fuck on here? Anybody email me in? All right, good. Now, technically she's not ADOS, but she was born in Las Vegas, to be taken out of the streets of LA from a crazy troubled childhood of rebellion and dropping out of school in the 9th grade to being planted on campus of prestigious Tuskegee University. This is a woman that has made like $150,000 and $200,000 a month. And I believe she's still like north of 6 figures a month as to what she makes. She's tall as shit too, by the way. Very nice person. And she's done it not just in network marketing, but actually in regular business. Just so you know, she's on the team. I'm trying to she is married to a black man. Where's her husband? Yeah, this is her husband. And her husband actually used to they used to live in Memphis, and her husband used to do work with God. So even though she makes what she makes, they still have a family. And yeah, the family has not been all rosy, but she kind of went into, based on what I heard her, what she was saying, she kind of went into that, that rocky relationship, but that she made kind of the decision, this is the dude, rather than doing what most folks do with the 80%, 8 out of 10, which is, push the eject button. She actually stuck around. So she really did it. Yeah. Let me see, how many followers does she have? Yeah, 16. But yeah, that's, make no mistake. This woman makes like, this woman's a millionaire. So this is one. Now this chick, if y'all know in Atlanta, y'all know her. I'm I'll let you, I'm not trying to denigrate. I'm not gonna denigrate. I mean, I'm not. I mean, her past is her past. So if y'all want to follow up with her, as far as her channel, she's like probably one of the biggest people on social media in this field. She's a part of like It Works, and yeah, but she's had very humble beginnings too. And trust me, if you hear her talk, this is like, but she as a salesperson, you cannot argue with results. To give you a dude that all y'all need to follow, this dude is the truth. This dude makes over like $200,000 a year, and this dude is like, if you're a Christian, this dude could teach you, give you a master's degree in education and in business, straight out of the Bible. If you're atheist, who else? I don't know what that is. Hold on. All right, this makes more sense. Yeah, yeah. So anyway, my point to even showing any of that is to let y'all know, this idea that, and I can show you Abraham H, and I can show you a couple other people. This idea that I don't know women are successful, or I have, is bullshit. Well, why don't you talk about them more? I don't talk about it more because it's not relevant to what I'm trying to talk about on this channel. You'll see me talk about that a lot more when I get to those things. And I'll probably be creating another channel just rotated around business. And it'll have an angle towards black folks, but it'll be more for black people, but it'll definitely it's not gonna, get rid of anyone. Let me see, what are y'all talking about? But my point is, like, that's where you see the cultural issue. That's where you see it manifest. And there's two sides to that. See, if you don't acknowledge what the issue is, you're not going to acknowledge. Like, let's be clear here. A matriarchy cannot compete against a patriarchy. It just can't. It just can't. Because in order for that to happen, the women as a collective group are going to have to compete against the men. And when it comes down to it, you can't show me any situation where that's happened. You can't show me, like, yeah, it is Naima. And I don't even follow, honestly, I don't even follow Stormy Wellington like that. I know of her, but I've never really been like, there's never been products I've needed to buy from her or anything like that. So, but I know who she is. And, Captain Cisco, here's the thing. Real estate rehab is better. Here's my answer to that. It caught, even, let's say I give you that. Let's say, yes, real estate rehab is better. How much does it cost to get involved in real estate? You know how black people are in credit. So don't give me, if you got good credit. All these caveats and ifs. Real estate rehab, man, I stay watching HGTV. I love those real estate shows. I go to the fortune builders. Every time they got a real estate rehab thing that comes through here, I go to network with other people. I have no problem with real estate. The caveat to real estate is you need money. You either need money or you need access to people that got money. So if somebody that is a normal person working at a normal job, let's say they got two jobs, am I really going to tell them that real estate is how they're going to get out of it? Well, I will tell you this: real estate is the easiest, quickest way to secure your wealth, but you got to increase your income first. Now, I'm not saying that network marketing is what you have to do. There's a hell of a lot of shit you can do without network marketing. You could do detailing. You can actually pop people's locks for them and get paid off of that with your car, and just do some Craigslist ads and just shower and build a place. You don't have to do network marketing, but what you do have to do is sell something. And then real estate is a way to where, if you're at a certain level, but you got to be at a certain level to do that. And anybody that's telling you that's bullshit, because even if you say, okay, you really don't, you still have to get your credit right, which is going to cost money, which is going to cost time. Now, you want to tell me about wholesaling real estate? Let's keep it all the way to fuck real. Like, wholesaling real estate is great, but I would mainly push that to somebody that's already familiar with the market. with real estate in some kind of capacity, because there's still things you have to know how to do. And there's people out here, there's channels I follow that teach people that don't know nothing how to wholesale real estate. But this idea where I'm gonna think I'm gonna be able to, a lot of people are gonna be able to pick that up and just run with it. That's not, that's just not, that's not really the case. So, but is it an option if you want to pursue it? Yeah. But at the end of the day, you're still selling something. Well, it's not about killer instincts. It's not even about saying men are better than women. It's just about saying what it is. And women know what I'm saying is true. When women do not compete with men. Not if everything is like a man is going 100% on them. And so that just is what it is. So yeah, I saw it and I did see that, and I damn sure appreciate that. I appreciate that. But here's the funny thing, Brandon, those people that I showed you, I would say they're in 50-50 situations, but those are not necessarily what I call female led. Like, because I've actually met them. And no, it's not like that. But yeah, that's another thing. A lot of these households are female led. And Captain Cisco, I mean, you hate sales, but I was saying this on I was doing a video about this. Here's the thing, Captain Cisco. If you want to look at the collective level, the fastest way to increase black people, but let's just talk about black men for a second. The fastest way to increase the income of black men is through sales. There is no way around that. Period. The fastest way. The problem with sales is people have certain cultural, mental, and emotional issues with it. I know because I used to have it. This is why really people get into personal development, whether they know it or not, in order to resolve those issues. Women typically don't have these problems. And they don't have these problems because black women in particular associate sales with their own independence. So they buy into it a hell of a lot more. And women make more emotional buying decisions because they're more emotional by nature. So therefore, it's easier for them to let go of money of people that they agree with. So I'm not necessarily saying they're better than us on this. It's just they have certain things to give them an advantage. Just like how men can deal with multiple women and not be emotionally degraded, how women can. It just is what it is. But you have to understand those balances and be able to make up for them. Man, I got a lot of people, dude. I got, like, if you want to talk about kick-ass black women, I got a list in different fields, different sections. Like most of the women you've ever heard me talk about, you never heard me talk about those women until just now. Because because I know how people are with network marketing and stuff like that. So I don't really bring that into my conversations because I know how people are. But so you rarely ever see me talk. I even but yeah, Captain Cisco, sales, it is what it is. That's why black men like forex trading so much, because it ain't selling. I know why it is. Brandon, what does DOES stand for? And as far as a counter movement, I mean, again, I'm not worried about that because all they'll be doing is self-separating themselves, which is what we want. Put in the chat what these. I mean, that's all it is. I mean, what do you like again? So if you say, "Oh, we got a counter movement," okay, that's good. That way, you all can have a different agenda, and we have one, so we know where we are. That's all we're talking about. So you're still doing what we want you to do. Now you're going to have to do out loud what you all been doing under the table. And the more you do that, the more I got to stop dealing with Negroes talking about these quote unquote fake coalitions that we have. And that shit just serves, see, that's an emotional argument. You don't even understand what's going on. See, this is how this is why I did a video like this in the first place. Because see, when our women talk, our women are talking like the black community is a patriarchy, and black men just said, fuck the patriarchy, I'ma just be Pookie and Ray Ray. That's not what happened. And it's interesting you brought that up, Brandon, because you basically are hearing, so basically Islanders are saying, well, fuck what? Y'all were never on Pan-Africanism. Marcus Garvey came to us. So fuck what? What are you saying? Fuck what you've never been on in the first place? Like, what are you giving to us? What is it? How do we benefit? Only 5% of African Americans have a passport. Black people don't even travel like that. How do we benefit from you? What are you doing for us? Nothing. So when you're saying fuck what? You see what I'm saying? But see, that's how, but that's a female, and that's how females think. Female, they don't look at it from, let's look at the whole scope and basically call balls and strikes. It's an emotional argument. So they're talking about, you're gonna counteract what? You see the lack of thought in that bullshit? Or she just hustling? Or she just hustling? Because a lot of people are gonna use this in order to try to get get views and shit, because they're not serious. What's up, Truth from Troy? That's why I always say, man, whoever puts money behind shit wins. Because most of these people that are talking, even people that are 480s, are not really talking about shit. They're just talking to be talking, because to them, that's a flavor of the month. Well, access to wealth is the biggest obstacle, but at the same time, you have to be willing to access the wealth too. There's different ways to access the economy. You got black men that, even though we do need to go after these jobs for real, at the end of the day, you're going to have to sell something and invest in something. But even with investment groups, if people don't understand sales, then you don't understand how to rotate money around. So the problem is, we have a culture of black men being trained and taught to not want to do certain things at the expense of others. See, when we talk about drugs, niggas will sell all day, because that's not really selling. That sells itself. But with anything that somebody, that's cool, Nine, but it's still much appreciated. What's up, Complex? I love getting sold. Captain Cisco. To be honest with you, I love getting sold. I've had people come in and sell. I mean, I do. Now, do I buy everything? No, but I look at it like looking at their process, looking at what they're doing. But that's just me. I'm a marketing type of person. But because me, selling is education. Selling is not just about, see, you associate sales with giving something that somebody doesn't need. The 90% of sales is really finding the right person for what you have. That's what 90% of sales really is, and that's marketing. Really, the 10% is convincing them that they need it. And you can't do that if they fundamentally don't need it. See, this idea of I can sell water to I can sell ice to an Eskimo bullshit. That's really not what sales is about. Or I can sell water to a penguin. That's not what sales is about. That's what people have been taught sales is about. Sales is about basically making something go faster by using leverage, by making something be more efficient. Any product that you have in your in where you are makes it more efficient. Now, whether you can find something else to do that, that's one thing. But for the most part, that's what it is. Now, granted, you can go on makeup and stuff like that, but even with makeup, women buy makeup in order to amplify their sexual marketplace value. Most men buy things to amplify their sexual marketplace value. Now, do they really need that? No, but that's on them. That's where they emotionally wired to. Arthur Clarke, we don't care what immigrants do, but it's important to know what they are doing. There's a difference between intelligence, but nobody cares about what immigrants do. ADOS is pretty just to piggyback. ADOS is not about what immigrants do. ADOS is about us establishing our own agenda independent of them. And they can either be on board with that agenda or not on board with that agenda. It's really that simple. After years for calling for Black unity, the ADOS movement would split the Black community even further. Okay, first of all, I'm gonna tell you like Jason Black. This is what David Monroe said. Jason Black always said this. I don't want unity. I want empowerment. So what does that mean? What that means is, what is the point of unity if you got a whole bunch of people that don't have the same agenda as you? If you don't have the same agenda, then you're not united. And the problem is, Black people, if you ask 10 different Black people what should be the agenda, you're going to get 10 different responses, because Black women have their own agenda for the most part. Immigrants have their own agenda. Gay Black people have their own agenda. And for some reason, that always seems to fuck over ADOS African-American men. So as for us coming up with our own agenda, the women that want to say, no, it's not about that, it's about feminism, they get fucking kick rocks. For the folks that want to say, no, it's not about that, it's about being an American first and fuck your Blackness, they can kick rocks. For the people that want to say, no, it's not about economic empowerment, because that's a further split. That's further split even amongst ADOS. It's about getting a white man to give you some shit that they've never given you. They can kick rocks. It's about coming together with the people that have a united agenda where we can actually start putting money behind what we want. Remember, I've said 60% of the Black community is not going to make it. I'm only focused on 40%. That's roughly about 12, 13 million. That's roughly about 11 million, 12 million people. That's roughly really about, if you want to break that down and say, okay, you can't separate the kids because the kids didn't make a decision yet, then you're talking about like about 22 million Black adults. So out of that, you're looking at about 8 million, about 7.5 million Black people. I'd say probably 6.5, maybe 6, if you really take out ADOS, if you're looking at ADOS Blacks. That's Black men and Black women. If you further understand that 80% of your women are not really for you for whatever reason, and let's buff that number up and say like maybe 30 or 40 will be on board. So 4 out of 10, because niggas are actually finally doing some shit and they want to get on that train and they haven't really done anything to wreck that train. And I'm not separating people to single mothers or anything like that, because if you contribute, right? Then really you're looking at probably 5 or 4 million adults. That's really the number. And then if you further say, okay, it's going to take 1% and 10% to leverage those 4 million, you're really looking at about 400,000 people that are really on the same page and really putting money together to get certain things done. That's really the real number you're looking at. That's really the real fucking number you are looking at. And the reality of the situation is, if I were to go and look up the Nation of Islam is what, like 50,000 members? The Nation of Islam is like 50,000 members. Like, I think Scientology is like 15. If you look at your typical, Greek fraternities, like, let me look that up. I mean, if you look at your Kappas and all of that, see, this is when we got real numbers to look at, real numbers to kind of break down, real numbers to, really talk about. And we're not talking about all this innuendo bullshit. And those things are based on a common agenda. What is that agenda? Economic empowerment. What does that mean? That means looking at every area of activity, the 9 areas that I talked about, and basically putting money in behind it and putting people in those areas that are they don't got to speak on one united front, but they got to be a part of us. So when you look at our culture, aka our music and our other things, look at all those groups. And who can we here's an idea that I want to get to all of y'all. Everybody wants to talk about voting. Do you not know you vote with your dollars? Do you not know that if you stop voting for somebody with your dollars, it will go out of business? Let's take black women, for example. Even if you're a black feminist and you hate black men, I want black women to tell me why they don't spend the majority of money where they can with other black women when it comes to the hair industry. When it comes to the hair care industry and the nail industry, black women should be, I understand you all can't go and get the hair, but when it comes to the dealer level, aka the actual stores, and I've seen women on Instagram that sell bundles and stuff, they should be getting it from other black women. That should be on GP. Black men get our haircuts from other black men. We feel weird getting haircuts from non-black men. I only do it when I go overseas, and I don't even like it then. Hair, nails, all the basic makeup shit, y'all should get it done there. I don't agree necessarily what black women did to the dude that owned Shea Moisture, but that's their purview to do it. Black women should be that ferocious, and black women do it in some ways, but they don't do it nowhere near as much as they could. And if you notice, a lot of excuses black women will give for not doing that will be the same shit that black men say because they're using an excuse. So my point is, your economics, we should be looking at everything everywhere and saying, is this not, are they black? Are they or do they share our agenda? Meaning that it isn't about, are they ADOS? If they're not ADOS, do they have our agenda? Or are they on some, I'm gonna get it in on the back that I look black, but I'm really gonna do some other shit? Therefore, they're basically blasting us and making us look bad for white daddy. We should look at everybody, music, politics, everything. And we should put our money behind that. So when you vote for somebody, you're voting for somebody. Every time you spend money, you're technically voting for somebody. When you choose to go to an Arab gas station and not a Nigerian one, even though they're across the street and it's the same price. When you choose to go to one store and another, even though one store may be African American owned, you're voting for somebody. You're just not paying attention to it. You know, when I choose to spend my money at a certain restaurant that may not be black owned, but they hire black people. And I'm not talking about no token hire black people. I get my tires from a Latin place, but they got 3 black mechanics. One of them I just asked is ADOS. The other 2 are Afro-Latino. But I got to go 30 miles because they locked down the tire market. That's another problem. When you say, okay, why do these people control these markets? Why aren't black men in landscaping? Why isn't it like a market for black men that got out of jail to get into landscaping? Why isn't it black men owning the tire industry? You only need one entrepreneur to actually start a business in order to be able to hire people to get access to that market. Truth is, I know it. You're damn right. They did do that, and they did that because he was a black man. But they can't hold the line on these Asians. And that's an L black women got to hold. Just as much as it's an L that black women supported R. Kelly, and that's why R. Kelly lasted as long as he did. Just like right now, it's some talk that some sisters might raise some money to get them bailed out. I mean, I'm just keeping it real. But the problem is, David Moreau, it doesn't matter if you're hiding. It doesn't matter if you're hiding from the census. We know who fucking with us and who not fucking with us on the ground. Like, again, I'm not anti-immigrant. The problem is the thing, and this is why I did a video like this in the first place, because the problem is a lot of folks are being emotional and they're not making logical arguments. I can tell you're not thinking when people make an argument, not necessarily you, but I mean like in general. They be like, well, you anti-immigrant. There's nothing that black men, there's nothing that black people have really said about, nobody's talking about removing immigrant rights. But what we are saying is immigrants shouldn't be able to come in here and then have like extra citizenship rights, because they already can access our economic markets, which gives them a leg up over people where they come from. So now they're basically getting individual reparations. They're getting reparation style benefits. For what? Because they come from a country that's fucked up. So that's worse than what we went through. And we know they're giving those rights as a way of undercutting us. Nobody wants to really have that argument. They just want to be like, oh, black people are just being mad. And the reality is, part of me wants to explain that, but part of me wants to say, fuck it, do what you want to do. Because you are just trying to convince me to keep doing what I'm already doing when that doesn't benefit me at all. And it doesn't matter what emotional diatribe people go on. I don't have to listen to you because you have no leverage. Chris Cotton says in New York, the Dominicans control the hair care industry, and it is a shame. And my question is, why do black women support them? Well, because they black. They let them tell it they not black. So why? Well, they don't understand. See, that's stupid. That's like me saying, if I tell you I don't date black women, and then you tell me that I'm stupid. Well, I mean, I just told you I don't fuck with you. But for some reason, you want me to fuck with you. So now that's not true. I do date black women. What I'm saying is, you want me to fuck with you so bad that you are willing to psycho manipulate yourself. Now, sisters won't do that. If they hear a brother say they don't date black women, oh, they register him as the enemy category real quick. Yet when they see a Dominican say I'm not black, they still say, well, I'm gonna still spend my money with you over another sister. That makes no sense. For what? Arthur, I just told you our agenda. Our agenda is to build power, wealth, and influence. Our agenda is to build power, wealth, and influence through the 9 areas of activity. That is as follows: economics, politics, law, media, education, labor, sex, war, religion. To give you more specifics, that means in religion, we need to reform the black church and basically make the black church great again by making it what it used to be when it powered black group economics back in the Black Wall Street days. Meaning the black church served first and foremost as a way to pass down our culture, meaning get a lot of these females back on point, and then also for us to aggregate our money, basically tax-free. That's what the black church served. It got away from that. Second thing, and when it comes to politics, we need to start powering our politics, meaning we need to start paying to submit politicians to your local first, state second, and then federal third. We need to become a donor class as well as a voter class. I gave you a couple of examples, but there's a lot of different fronts that this stuff needs to be done at. But those are the key things that need to be done in every front. I just said what the agenda is. Either you're on board with it or you're not on board. But in every area, everything that black people participate, we need to look to basically build as much power, wealth, and influence to dominate it, period. And you do that by grouping together with like-minded black people and aggregating your money to take over a market. There should be no place where we have the numbers that we don't control things top to bottom, period. Everywhere, everything. And we need to look at everything. And if there are groups that are somewhere, it's either because it's something we can't do or we don't want to do, and they are on the same page with us, period. That goes down is to even looking at the commercial real estate where you live. Own, control everything. You want an example? Chinatown. That should be a whole, Atlanta should be a black version of that across the damn board. It's that simple, period. That's the agenda. Now, when people want to be, and one, the reason why I brought up the church is because the church is the single largest entity where our economics are grouped up currently today. Now, am I saying there shouldn't be a counter to that? Sure, because I don't think the church is going to change. But what we have to understand is my solution to the church is very simple. What there should be is there should be some kind of standardization that if black people give money to a church is basically sign. Either basically, what do they call it? They call it a compact. We'll call it a covenant to keep it religious. That they will be transparent with their money and they will devote their money to group economics and economic empowerment. If they don't do that, they don't need to get money. And you focus on building up the smaller churches that you can control, and then you basically degrade the mega churches that won't get on board. Even if they're ADOs, you go after their ass hard and you make them get on board, or you go after their congregations. But the church serves as an example of aggregated money. Now, clearly, operationally, they do a hell of a lot of fuck shit with it, but they are an e-closed economy. Hotepism has not proven they can do that yet, nor really is Pan-Africanism. So I'm not saying that we need to all become Christians, but from an operational side, if you look at what I'm talking about made manifest, the black church is the biggest example. Most of your mega churches really should have their own credit unions. But because they are poverty pimp machines, they don't do that. So they need to be reformed. But I'm all for tearing stuff down, certain things down in order to rebuild it. That's why I mentioned the church. And quite frankly, I believe it's better to tear it down. It's better to reform it than to tear it down. Because it's an institution we need to take back over. That's really what that is. Anyway, this conversation has turned out to be pretty good. So anyway, let me get back. Let me at least do what I said I was gonna do. Let's see, where is this shit? Oh, okay, Cos B1 not talking. Stop this light skin chick. Oh, this is her picture. Stop bringing black women into your drama. You know, I pretty much responded to her. If you don't like it, fuck off. The single biggest issue in black society is culture. The biggest culture issue in the BC is the matriarchy. Hence the title of this video. I am talking about media, which in the video we talk about the Oscars, which is by definition culture, which black women, by the way, are a hell of a lot more of a financial driving force for what gets made and put out for black target audiences and black men. Yeah, this is not the place for your validation. This is a place for facts. Either do the following: bounce the fuck out and go back to Derrick Jackson, get on a hangout and challenge me verbally, or I'll just delete your troll ass emotional trigger comments, as that takes for me a lot less time than explaining myself while listening at all. Then Shiloh says my math is terrible, and you and your hero TBA are using Yvette's ADOS language. You're suspect. Basically, that's a non-response response. You know, I basically responded by saying, LOL, Jason Black has been around far longer than Yvette. Also, you wouldn't even know who Yvette it was if it wasn't for Boyce Watkins. Tone is on Zoe's show every once in a while, which is where a lot of his audience is from. And Jason and Black and Zoe used to be on the same side before they fell out. So you don't know what you're talking about. Also, where's the math wrong? Correct me. Just don't say it and leave it like that. Like in geometry, show your work or shut the fuck up. And then I basically went on as far as what my math. Let's see. These are not but those are not even the real comments. Okay, this is the one. Dr. Princess MD Wolfie MSH. So she's a doctor, but she's on here. Okay. White folks buy jet skis, vacation homes, vacations, great schools. Okay, first of all, notice the first three things that she mentioned. These are all consumeristic things. Jet skis, vacation homes, and vacations. That had nothing to do with wealth. So that's telling you what the fuck she's on right now, considering the video that I had. Because that video was the video when I did ADOS interference runners. What was that video? That video was a 5-hour hangout I did. So that's video with Jesse and all them on. Ados interference runners in the aftermath, the Rumble aftermath. And then so that's the first thing she said. Then she said, great schools, eat good food, and you worried about them. Number one, see what I'm saying? This is fucking Negro babble. If they had integrity, we wouldn't be on this thread. I guess y'all sleep well too, as homeless people live outside. Notice she didn't say homeless black people. I don't even know if this bitch is black, to be honest with you. She said homeless people. Majority of black men, a lot of the homeless are black men, but whatever. And then an agenda is being constructed and developed now. So this is what, okay, she's black, but she says homeless people. This is what I'm talking about agenda. Is being developed now. It doesn't need to be developed. We already have an agenda. I've already said what the agenda is. Build power, wealth, and influence. We already have an agenda. The problem is black people don't know what they don't know, and they're listening to sheep, the blind leading the blind. Your economics, getting your personal economic situation together, meaning your credit, your income, meaning do whatever you do to raise your income and aggregate with people. And then that's what the agenda is. It's that simple. Anyway, it's not an overnight blueprint, but the blueprint has already been established. See, this is how I know she doesn't know shit. You two don't know where y'all going. I know what economic institutions are. That's their plan. If y'all would shut the fuck up. Tone is an attorney. Man, you never hear Tone talk about economics. That is, man, please. Tone actually does not even believe in capitalism like that. Tone is an attorney. By the way, Tone being an attorney doesn't mean he knows shit about anything he's talking about. He knows about the law, not about economical, political situations. So whatever, so really? And then I responded in the bullshit I responded, which is what I just told you. Okay, now this is the next chick. Anon, black man, and light skin motivation. Now I don't know if this is a female. I don't know if this is a female or if this is a male. I think this is a male because I'm looking at his Facebook. So he has his hashtag. So let's go look at let's I want y'all to follow me on this journey as we look at this dumbass right here. So let's go. So just so y'all can see the comments, and then let's look at this dude real quick. So this dude has fixed the trick men and light skin privilege. Is fake. So anon, black men and light skin motivation. Examining the role that black rappers play in colorism. See, I thought this was a female. Now I'm starting to realize this is just a bitch ass nigga. Racial slurs about light skinned people and bullying. Oh my fucking God. Look, I'm a light skinned dude. Come on now. But this dude has this looks, man, this dude looks like he's got a propensity for light skinned women. And some dark-skinned people becoming the white supremacists of the black community, examining some of the hatred towards light-skinned biracial. Oh my God, this bitch made nigga, and he's defending Cory Booker. I have not, dude. Y'all, I swear to God, I did not come to this page before I did this video. You all are seeing me doing this live in full effect. This shit. These are the assholes that try to come at me. And this is his public page. I'm not friend of this dude. So this is what he's putting out there. This video will address the light-skinned privilege myth during slavery in the U.S. Okay, let's get off of that bullet. Look, I don't think light skin privilege exists today for black men, but it existed back then. And light skin privilege exists for black women. You see, these are the assholes that come for me. These are the people that actually hate has been so embedded in us that blacks hate other blacks for being black. Insecures, Kendrick Sampson breaks down light skin privilege so it can and this is first of all, light skin privilege is a fucking distraction. It really is. Because if you notice, all the people I showed you in the network marketing thing, they were not light skinned. So a lot of that is just a distraction circular argument anyway. And I don't agree with, and I think colorism is a distraction. I think colorism serves to create contempt for black men, because black women don't never talk about colorism from their own perspective. And this dude just created this Facebook page. He's a troll. Okay, so now I basically disproved this asshole. Now let's read some of the dumb shit he said. This is what he said. Not true. Black women are not. See, he is gonna tell. So this dude, if this is a dude, this dude basically has his whole Facebook page dedicated to basically telling black women that they're full of shit on colorism, which I kind of agree with. Even though the light skin privilege, the way he's going about it, saying light skin privilege have never existed, mulattoes, I don't go that far with it. He says this, not true. Women aren't ruined. Black men have made a conscious decision to turn our back on responsibility. This is why I thought he was a female. We pedal, and you know, I apologize, even though the first chick was, but you know, it is what it is. We peddle the destruction behavior that our culture, other cultures mirror. And sadly, we're afraid to check our own brothers and make changes. Okay, so the best way to check a black man is by denying him sex. And the reality or influence black male behavior. The problem is black men don't have the power to basically remove sex off the table for other black men. So this idea about shaming black men, shame has never ever worked on black men from other black men. What the fuck are you talking about? So that's a bullshit. That's an argument I hear women use. This other culture bullshit is something I hear a lot of women use too. That's why I thought he's a woman. This dude is literally a woman. And then I responded by saying, everything is the black man's fault argument. Edward, no, this is the fish rots at the head statement. Okay, this is why I even did the picture, the title of the video. Because my thing is, he's assuming the black community was headed by black men. That's not really true. And even in the Black Wall Street days / the black women have never been actually in a situation where they've been forced to actually comply with black men outside of the outside of environment. The reason why black men pre-1960s were compliant with black men is because they would die if they wouldn't. If they wanted, integration didn't exist. So it was for their own safety, not from black men, but from the racist society we lived in, aka Jim Crow, for black men to serve their role as protector. But black women never actually made the decision on their own to do that, because a lot of the shit, feminism rose amazingly as integration rose. And I'm talking about the feminism we see today. I'm not talking about your Sojourner Truths and Harriet Tubmans. So anyway, black men no, it's true, Fitz right statement. Black men spend every day blaming black women. So these are the black men you listen to and the black men you're around. That's what that says. And talk about accountability, but as a whole, when have we been accountable? Black men are the most held accountable group in the United States of fucking America. We're held accountable to things we don't do. So, like I said, you say black women are ruined. I didn't say all black women are ruined. I said we have to understand what ruined means. And the problem is black women believe that there's no such thing as being ruined, that you can always be redeemed no matter what you do. And it is that mindset that has people doing what they do. Black men know if you have enough kids, chances are you're fucked. You're not going to economically recover from that because the society won't allow you to. But who does that fall on? Are we as men going to say we did our best to provide a conducive, healthy environment for our women? And they said, nah, the drugs, the crime, the death we do in our neighborhoods, is this black women's fault? Yes. Because they fuck the very niggas that produce those results. So yes. Is it all their fault? No. Is it 50%? Yes. Because this is why I tell you, I'd rather see black women swirl than deal with Pookies and Ray Rays. And they make a conscious decision to reproduce than men to do this. In fact, they will argue with their right and privilege to do so. So yes, it is at least 50% their fault. Tell me, where does the fault lie? It's about 50-50. It's about black men should have pretty much just left and pretty much created a whole new society with a smaller number of black men around the women that were going to be compliant, taking our women that were compliant and leaving the rest, and then creating I call it black men there needs to be new management in the black community, which means we need to replace the current managerial class with our own, but we do need one. First, and then Edward, okay, here we go. First, I'm a black man. Okay, that's when he said it. So your argument, right. It says so in my name. Well, I didn't know because you sounded like a female. Second, the black community has never been a matriarch. What are you talking about? Black women never control, and if they did, we wouldn't be in this situation. Wow. Okay, let me respond to this. So this is what I said before that. I said the black community has never been a patriarchy. If you don't understand that, then there's nothing else that is said that said will make sense. You know, when folks say the black community is backwards, that shit starts right there at the source. If you don't believe that the black community is not a patriarchy and never has been, I ask you this simple question. Name something that black men can compel black women to do as a group like other groups compel their women. Name me any law that black women follow that black men have set forward. What black men are is irrelevant because I can already hear your excuses. Simple fix. Stop fucking with African American men and move on. Either submit or find another mate to be with, be it white men or be it whatever. This, I'm going to blame black men 100% for the ills for the community, as if black women listen or ever have listened to a damn thing black men have ever said needs to fucking stop. If you want to continue this, it will be verbal hangout. I basically told him, if you're going to have this, you're going to be on a fucking hangout. Otherwise, shut the fuck up. And then I said, I'll give him the last word and let's see if he can follow directions. Then he said, Edward Anderson. Okay, here we go. First, I'm a black man, so get your argument right. It says so in my name. I'm sorry. I couldn't tell based on what the fuck you're saying. First, second, the black community has never been a matriarchy. What are you talking about? So clearly he's indicating he doesn't know what the fuck I'm talking about, so he's not educated. Black women never had control. Black women never had control of the black community. So black women don't have agency. Black women have never had agency, which is really what I was referring to. See, he identifies control as black men just do what black women tell them to do. But black men base their value on access to the vagina. They look for their manhood in a woman's womb. So by definition, and if you want to talk about control, niggas, why do you think you see niggas wearing dreads that are not from the islands? It's because that's what the bitches want. I'd say 80% of what most black men do behavior is predicated on the unconscious thought of, is this what the bitches want? Is this what they want to get access to pussy? So by definition, yes, they do have control, and men have ceded that. So I actually just answered your question. If they did, we wouldn't be in this situation. Okay, this is how you know you're dealing with a male matriarch. He said, this man just said that if black women were in control of the black community, we would not be in this situation. I want to give a moment of silence for that bullshit. Compelling, where you been? Black women follow the fuck out of black men. A moment of silence for that bullshit. Compelling, where you been? Black women follow the fuck out of black women. Black men follow black women follow the fuck out of black men. I want to have a moment of silence for that bullshit. That's why they choose drug dealers over fuck boys. I want to read that whole thing. And compelling, where you been? Black women follow the fuck out of black men. That's why they choose drug dealers and fuck boys. I want a moment of silence for those three. This. Oh, Jesus Christ! Black women do not follow black men. Black women see black men as sex and labor. The reason why they follow drug dealers and fuck boys is because they want bad boys like all women do, but they've been hyper imprinted. Black women look for hyper masculinity, and fuck boys and drug dealers are examples of this that they've been imprinted by. They're following their own sexual needs and lusts. They're not following the men. If you don't believe me, why do most of your hobosexuals, aka black men homeless, that are the fuck boys you're talking about, what control are you talking about? You are misidentifying the sexual needs of someone with them following. What the fuck are you talking about? These are the caliber of people that disagree with me, by the way. Black men dick ride the fuck out of them. So black men dick ride drug dealers and fuck boys. Not only that, you scary ass dudes are too busy here making videos about black women instead of checking the black women and men that run amok. They never, you know what's funny? These dudes that say this dumb shit never define what checking means. What do you mean when you say checking? Define to me. Give me a list of 5 or 10 things that black men can do to curb the behavior of dudes when they can get when women are gonna still give them pussy. They never can define that. They say check. You can't even check your women that way. That's basically called barking with no teeth. If I don't have something that you want or that you're afraid to lose, you don't have any incentive to listen to me. Let me give you an example. The reason why black women don't do shit with white men is because white men will make it so they can't get hired. They will get fired. They can remove resources. And you can argue that's on black men for not building the resources to be able to remove, but that's not the point he's making. The point he's making is, why don't we check the men? Because women don't have agency in their own decisions, according to him. And then the only thing he responds with, Edward, stop with the fucking ass excuses and leave. So this is what you call a bitch ass nigga. This nigga is the absolute dudes we need to get rid of in the black male society. I'm not even talking about on the manosphere. I'm talking about in general. This dude is in between being a gay. This shit is what I would hear from a gay black dude. And that would make a lot more sense. He is so miseducated. It's pathetic. Anyway, yeah. Chris, I'm not allowing controls to control me. I'm not allowing, because I do videos like this every once in a while where I take a temperature of people that disagree with me. Because if you have a conscious disagreement, then you have a disagreement. But what I'm showing, this is not about me getting in my feelings about trolls. What this is me showing the caliber of people that want to enter the conversation and not know what the hell they're talking about. No, the comments, these are past comments. So I'll put them on Facebook, but these were past comments. Yeah, A1. It doesn't have to be through the church, AM1. Like, in fact, probably what I'm gonna do won't be through the church at first anyway. And I got your message, Chris. But I do videos like this every once in a while because people think that they can just, you know, make a comment and nothing's ever gonna be said or done. And this isn't me attacking people. This is me just holding it up. Holding up what you put in and what you said. Like, for instance, me and AM1 has a disagreement. I understand that. Personally, if I could rewrite everything, I would take religion completely out of it. It comes to group economics. But it's a matter of what's more pragmatic. So anyway, I appreciate y'all. I just wanted to read that comment, and I appreciate hanging with y'all. So I'm gonna close this out. Like I said, I told you I'd do more content. So FYI, this is Edward signing off. Peace.